Today's lesson, what we're going to focus on is how to chip. So basic fundamentals of chipping are extremely important. What we want to do is make sure that you have these sound fundamentals to make it a lot easier for yourself to control your trajectory and have your ball do what you want it to. So the first fundamental with chipping that I want you to understand is trajectory control equals distance control. So if we can control the flight of our golf shot, that's going to help us control the distance the ball is going to travel. If I hit a high trajectory, I'm going to need to do a bigger swing. If I hit a low trajectory, I need to do a little bit of a smaller swing. So it's very important that you know what size of swing you need to hit based off of the trajectory you're going to hit. So let's touch base on low, medium, and high trajectory shots and help guide you through the process to give yourself a little bit more consistency. So first off, let's touch base on low trajectory. A low trajectory is the basic setup that most instructors teach on how to hit a chip shot. We start with our feet together, move our front foot forward. We don't need too wide of a stance. Keep our pressure on our front foot and then lean that club forward. This creates a very sharp leading edge, allows for us to dig down underneath the golf ball and makes it easier for us to pop that ball out. Now, if the ground's a little wet and soggy though, that's an extremely risky setup to have because it's creating that sharp leading edge, so it'll be easy for you to have the club hit the ground before the ball and get some debris or mud in between the club face and ball and create inconsistency in your distance control. So the other one is a mid-trajectory. A mid-trajectory is now in the middle of your stance, club leaning slightly forward, but allowing for the leading edge to raise up off the ground a little bit. This is going to allow for that club to skim rather than dig and get that ball to fly up a little bit higher when we hit it. Last but not least is the high trajectory shot. Now, generally out of a tight lie, I do not suggest this, but moving that ball further forward. But what we can do if the ball's sitting up a little bit, it'll be really easy for you to hit that high trajectory and have that club skim down the ground. Same rules apply, making sure you have a little bit of weight forward and keeping it there. Shaft angle now, instead of it leaning forward, is kind of straight up and straight down and allow for it to sweep, going through and hitting that higher trajectory shot. Now, these are the basic fundamentals for chipping and pitching, where we want a low trajectory, mid trajectory, or high trajectory, just by simply moving our ball position around. Now, in order for that consistency, for that trajectory control to happen, is making sure that the club brushes the ground at the same spot. And lastly, it's also making sure that the shaft angle returns in the same position that we started. So if I have the club leaning forward, and let's say this is approximately 15 degrees leaning forward, when I return that club down towards the ball, I want to return it back in that same position. This is extremely important so I can have some consistency in my trajectory. If I start to use my wrists, you can see how that shaft angle has now changed and the loft of the club is increased, which is going to give it a higher trajectory. This also, activation with your wrist, creates inconsistency in your low point. It makes it easy for you to hit the ground early, tend to scoop up, and just have a lot of inconsistency in your shot. So what we want to do with this technique is making sure the shaft returns to the same position, and we use our body and rotation going through. So I don't want to see that club get ahead of your hands and fling going through. I want to see you turn your body so the club head, your hands, and your body match up going through. So you're maintaining your triangle and not fleeing that club ahead of your body. Very simple fundamental for a low trajectory. Same fundamental we need for a mid trajectory. And same fundamental we're looking for that high trajectory. It's getting that rotation and that connection going through and not letting that club head get ahead of your hands as you're swinging down and through. I guarantee you're going to see more consistency in your contact and getting great trajectory control, which will then give you distance control.